So there's been a new format announcement, and to be perfectly honest, didn't expect this. But according to Series, we're going to be having Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Ranked Battle Regulation D rule set has been revealed, allows for all non-restricted Pokemon, which restricted Pokemon are box legendaries, like we can't use Miraidon, we cannot use Koraidon, and we can't use mythical Pokemon either. I don't think there's any mythicals that came over from Bank. I could actually Hoopa. We can't use Hoopa. That's the Pokemon. We can't use the Hoopa. But transferred Pokemon from Pokemon Home. So if you can transfer like Pokemon from Legends of Arceus, right? Like Hisuian Typhlosion. You can use like Landorus. You can use Enamorus. So those Pokemon will become legal in this new Regulation D format. And probably the most important thing is the date that we're going to be having this rule set ran under, July 1st. July 1st through September 30th, which this means one thing that's very important, and that's we're not going to have any events under this rule set, right? We're not going to have a single event played under Regulation D other than the World Championships. And well, I guess technically no, NAIC starts on Friday. I was gonna say, like, I think NAIC starts like June 30th, right? So maybe they could justify it by saying it's close to, because like we saw with other events, as the date play starts supersedes the format beginning. So like with Fort Wayne, since it was on the 1st of the month, the new rule set was in place, but if it was on the 30th, then it wasn't. So I think the assumption should be that the North American International Championships will be taking place under Regulation C, not D, which is very bad. I'll be blunt. Like, I don't think it would have been good for the North American International Championships to be the first event under Regulation D either, but that would at least mean we have one event to watch before Worlds, as Worlds is the most important event of the year, and having that exist under a brand new format is a little, to put it lightly, kind of troll and not exactly good for the game, right? But yeah, this is some example of Pokemon that are banned here with like Dialga. You can't use Iron Leaves or Walking Wake either, but you can use all the Hisuian Pokemon. You can use Hisuian Bravery. Interesting enough, you are able to use Alolan Ninetales. You can use Cinderace from the raid battles. You can use Charizard. We'll likely probably get Incineroar by this point, but you can use all the... Oh yeah, wait, you can use Incineroar, I believe, too. Landorus T. Chestnut, I think, was one we got. Greninja. So we can use those Pokemon, but we cannot use Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, which I assume they chose not to bring in Walking Wake and Iron Leaves simply because, like, Walking Wake and Iron Leaves was a limited time event. So it would be hard to actually get those Pokemon without, like, DLC access, where I assume those Pokemon will be catched normally. Though, even with this said, right, the only way you can get Hisuian Pokemon is through owning Legends of Arceus, and the only way you can get Landorus, Tornadus, Thundurus, Enamorus is through owning other games too. So I don't feel like this is good for like the health of the game to have like it essentially be mandatory that players have other games in order to be playing at a competitive level. Because like I don't really like bringing up like genning drama, right? Because if you care about genning though, that's a really bad sign, because like it becomes a bit incentivized, because I don't think everyone is going to be able to say, hey, I have this friend who will beat Legends of Arceus for you again so you can get Tornadus, Thundurus, Landorus. So it is a pretty awful change for new players just off of that. This means, hey, you need people who have other games, or you kind of have to cheat, and like that's just not a good scenario at all, I think. And really this whole maneuver by them is just poorly timed. This from a competitive aspect of how the World Championships can go, and this overall, this like kind of absurd. We can talk about some people's thoughts on this format though. I do believe there was a tier maker thing on it. If I can find it. Let me see. There we go. This will always like give us somewhat of a look. Like, I don't think this ranking is really correct, right? But it'll at least give you an idea of some of the Pokemon that are like available, right? I can give some of my opinion on it too, because I don't think I have the tier maker link. Did you post it? No, I don't see anything about the tier maker link. Okay, so let's look at this, and I'll give my opinions on this from Z's thoughts on it. But basically, like Ursaluna, 140 base power guts. Tornadus has like a new exclusive move too. Urshifu, Landorus, and there's like Landorus Incarnate too, which has a spread 100 base power, 80% accurate move that's boosted by sheer force. Which was the main flaw of like Lando Incarnate, was that it didn't have a real spread move, and now it just has a really good spread move. So there's that. Regieleki with like potential Terra Electric boosted transistor boosted moves, which could be pretty funny. Still gets Electro Web too. Fast Electro Web is really good, as we saw with like Iron Bundle, this having fast Icy Wind, but it's Iron Bundle without having an Iron item dependency, so it makes that a little bit better. Thundurus is generally like, it's a good Pokemon in general. And also stuff like Cleavor. Cleavor Bug Rock is actually not that bad of a typing, which may sound a little surprising, but Cleavor Bug Rock is not a bad typing at all. And like Stone Axe is actually a very good move to set Stealth Rocks even in double battle, because like the problem with double battles and setting Stealth Rocks was generally that it was a little too slow, right? And like of course Tinglu kind of alleviates that problem a little bit, because like Tinglu does naturally play slow very well, but along with like Cleavor that can quick Stone Axe and set Stealth Rocks with damage tempo is actually kind of decent. Hizui and Sneasel I don't actually believe in. Heatran's a very good mon coming back too. Like Heatran's main weakness being this, oh, I'm ×4 weak to ground. Oh no, and now you can tear it like flying. Glacier, Regidraco, big hits, right? I don't think Draco's going to be too crazy with Flutter main format though. Hizui and Gudra seems kind of weird to me. Decidueye, Overquill. I think Thundurus Therian's pretty decent. I think Crass, Zapdos, Galar, Moltres, I think those are all good Pokemon. I think Enamorus is pretty bad, but and I will say some that do not use Whist is a little wild to me. I think Gyapdos, Galarian Zapdos is not a bad Pokemon at all. I do think Persian is fine too, though Persian's just a weird mod in general, especially in Flutter format, because like Flutter just destroys Persian's life, but it's not horrible. And I don't think Galarian Articuno is exactly horrible either. But yeah, that's like my general thoughts, and thanks to Z for the little tier maker they made, so I can at least like look at this in a nice little image, right? I don't have the specific tier maker list to look at. But yeah, I think this is the general thing. I think Ursaluna is like super overrated by people, but it's gonna be okay at least, right? It's still a facade boosted 140 base power. I mean 140 base attack, and you can do this quick EQ next to like Trick Room. So like hard Trick Room with that sounds pretty insane, not gonna lie, but I don't think hard Trick Room in general is actually that good, so I'm not gonna super say it's like the most insane mon in the world. But Tornadus, Urshifu, Lando, Thundurus, Regieleki, specifically like Torn Incarnate, Lando Incarnate, and Urshifu. I think those are 3 Pokemon that are this ridiculous. And like Lando Incarnate and Urshifu alone are like the 2 best Pokemon in the or 2 like format defining Pokemon really. So it'll be interesting to see how that all goes, right? But yeah, that's all my thoughts for today. Let me know what you think of Regulation D. I like the format and I think it's very interesting, but I think this is what my only like narc with it, right, is I think I think they could have started this like a month earlier. And all my problems with like, oh, they're rushing the format right before Worlds. We're gonna have to play this format at Worlds. Like, we're gonna go into Worlds with like no practice, and it's just gonna be a completely random metagame. Like, I don't like that thought of it. But like the format in itself, I don't mind. I don't mind the new mon addition to that at all. And I'll say this is something that I actually wanted them to transition to a while back when I saw the format rotations, but this feels like they were a month off on the cycle by having it in July instead of this June, right? Because June would mean, oh, you have Milwaukee, even though that would have been kind of crazy for them to have like 2 days to prep for Milwaukee, right? It would have at least been, I think, a bit better. But yeah, that's it. Later.